Looks like my camera is kind of pretty delayed right now, so sorry about that. But I think I'll still get started. We are April 10th, 2020. It's 10:35 a.m. And what we're going to work on next is, I think just checking that my software still works, and then we'll start trying to do some Perlin noise, maybe. Alright, oh man, my camera's really lagged, but that's okay. We'll just get back here. Alright, let's just go ahead and open up Unity. And, yeah, let's open up the tile map creator. Yeah, it looks like it's stuttering a lot. I should... it's fine. We'll just have a bad video this one. That's okay. I think the audio's coming in alright. Alright, so I'm going to make this maximize on play just to see it. Alright, and also, I wanted to bring up... I was going to bring up my OneNote doc just to see all the data that we're playing with. So this is my kind of like jotting down of like what is actually the objects in this program. So what I want to have is a cell that has a sprite, position, and color. Then we have a grid. The grid should have a list, size, position, and then we have a layer which has name, type, grid, sprite sheet, which is we haven't implemented this, so this is gonna take some time, which is gonna be the size of the like it's going to be the size of each individual cell on the sprite sheet. The spacing is around the edges and the padding's within the edges. And so that's going to be later. And then we have the palette, which is kind of what I have here, hard-coded on the right-hand side. So here are the different layer types I'm going to make. And so far we've done random noise, but we're not really inputting the palette. We're just grabbing everything here. It'd be nice to be able to specify which palette, and then here to be able to select which palette, but that's for later. So Perlin noise seems to be what we're going to be working on next, but first I got to see what problems are we facing. So okay, if we draw on layer 1, then we draw on layer 2, and if I bring layer 2 over layer 1, I think that's all working. If I delete layer 2, it's not deleting the cells. Alright, so we gotta work on that. Okay. Oops, why do that? So, I made this thing called Unity Data, which basically puts everything here in this data object, but it never actually gets created or destroyed. Not sure if this is the best way to handle the data, but it's working. And what's nice about it is you can see it in the inspector. So like if I want to see cell 13, I can just double click on that and then I see the cell. I just click on the layer. And I like how everything has like relations to each other, so you can just double click it and you actually get there, which is a really nice feature of just like kind of maintaining the code. So I'm gonna kind of keep that up if I can do it. Yeah, it's just it's much nicer this way. So that being said, I still kind of want to mess with this, and maybe instead of having a tile grid object like this, I'll have a tile grid layer. Or this will be tile grids. One will be a tile grid background. and the other, X will be tile grid layers. I think that's how I want to format this. Now that I kind of had some time to think about this, sleep on it, that's how I'm going to handle it. All right. So, under tile grid, let's have tile grids.
This is the music to Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Was it just not compiled yet? Is that why I couldn't put it on here? Alright, so we got tile grids. Alright, let's open up a code editor and start thinking about how we are going to get this working. I'll make the next song. Yeah, this helps me think better. I like this kind of more chill music. Alright, not so epic, more chill. ECS component, here we go. I don't think I'm gonna need anything for this guy yet, at least. Alright, so tile grids is just kind of the parent here. Let's make create tile grids. And so tile grids, maybe we'll even rename this. We'll just say sync tile grids with layers. And then what we're gonna do here is we'll just update, and then we'll remove inactive tile grid layers, and we'll add new tile grid layers, and we'll make functions for each of these. How am I supposed to do this? Control Alt Enter, right? Alright. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Alright. So in order to remove tile grid layers, we're gonna go through each tile grid. So we'll just say tile grid and get entities. Oh, we gotta make this a system. And we're just gonna get each tile grid. And then we'll check its layer. So I guess you're gonna need a reference to your layer. So tile grid, let's go to this object. We'll say what layer you're representing. Okay. So if the tile grid layer, alright. We'll just make is layer inactive. And this is how we're going to check it. If tile grid dot layer, if not tile grid layer, or tile grid layer dot enabled, or tile grid layer dot game object dot active self. So that's how we're going to check if the layer is inactive. And so if it's inactive, what we want to do is just go ahead and remove this tile grid layer. So I think what I might do is just destroy this. Destroy the tile grid. Maybe that game object? Possibly. Alright. So now we're destroying the tile grid if the layer is inactive. Now this is what we're going to do next. Now we're going to go through each layer. When we're adding a new tile grid, we're going to go through each layer Man, I want some more chill music. Hold on. Alright, that should be better. So we're going to get each layer. We're going to get each tile grid. No, let's do it the other way. We're going to get each tile grid. Then we're going to get each layer. And, did I? Alright. We're going to say, did we find this tile grid? Did we find this layer? No. I'm still doing it wrong. Alright, let's go back here. We got the layer, we got the tile grid. Oh my god. I'm having indentation hell, and this is way super collapsed. There we go. I just didn't have enough room. I had so little horizontal room. Alright, so we're gonna have a quick bool here. Is tile grid found? And we'll say false. And then we'll just say okay. Well, if tile grid dot layer equals layer, then is tile grid found equals true. And then afterwards, if is tile grid found, I guess we can also break at this point, so if you had a lot of layers, it won't go crazy. So if the tile grid is found, nope. If it isn't found, then this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and create a new tile grid. So we're going to go ahead and grab our tile grids. And we're going to create a new tile grid. So tile grids, or let's just make a new game object. New game object. And we can see that by saying new game object. And if we wanted to give it a name, we could just say tile grid. We're going to go ahead and set the parent to tile grids. And so now it's under tile grids. We want to give this guy a tile grid component. We'll go ahead and even let's go ahead and say this is tile grid. And then tile grid, is there a layer? Yeah, equals layer. Yeah. So now we've assigned it to the layer. It has a reference to its grid. Do we need to do anything else? I'm just thinking. We added the tile grid, we assigned it the layer. I think we've done our job for this class, or at least this function. I think so. Oh, I just realized I'm not saying if is layer inactive, then destroy it. Okay. This could probably be better handled by prefab, maybe, but then we'd still have to get component and then set the layer, which I guess is very similar. This is also what I want to do. Once we actually get the layer, or we already have the layer, so we can just say tile grid underscore layer name. is what I want to do. Layer.name. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, I'm gonna see if it like starts syncing up the tile grid with the layers. So some of this code is gonna be pretty bad and like conflict with each other. So this is update tile grid. Let's just do, I might even get rid of that one. We just made create tile grids. Wait, where is that? Oh, it's called sync. Sync tile grids with layers. Yeah. Oof, I have so many systems now. This is where I need to start like organizing the systems. But for now, let's not upgrade tile layer. Let's not move selection to cursor. Let's not sync tile grid and these guys. Yeah, I might just even make the individual folders here. That way, like you go in here, you go in here, you go in here. Yeah, I have a script that can change the icon between systems and components, but I haven't done that in this project. So we moved, paint, is paint in here? Yeah. Gotta keep it organized, otherwise this list is just so hard to look through every time. So sync tile with layers. It's gonna go in here. What else? Update tile grid, we got, those are components, component, sync, I think we got two syncs, a paint and a move, is that right? Man, yeah, I need to add some of these scripts. I also want to like have my sort by alpha, that's really nice too. Jeez, alright, well for now I'll just do it manually. It's not great, but it'll work. Alright, there we go. Everything had to be dragged around. Okay, and I'll just leave this running. Save the scene, so I don't have to do that again. Alright, cool. So I'm actually getting the different tile grids, but it seems to be deleting and adding very quickly. So something is off. But yeah, you can see, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's on my screen, this like left hand side is flickering, so it's like deleting and adding, and it's very costly, I'm sure. So let's figure out why that's happening. So you're deleting and adding, so that must be something with us syncing. And so this is the reason I didn't put knots in all of these. So it was enabled or it was active, and that's why I was deleting. Okay, I hit play. Oh, it's compiling first. There, I know it's under me, you can't see it, but alright. So now it's not deleting very quickly. So now we can actually see it. This may benefit from me actually having the, or I can move this empty tile prefab to the tile grid. Yeah, that would work. Yeah, that should work. So we have each of these layers. Now hopefully, if I disable one of these layers, hopefully maybe this one would, yeah, it disappears from the list. And then, there we go. If I have no layers, boom, it all goes away. Okay, that's good. the layer should have a depth, right? Yeah, the layer has a depth. So everything in that layer can be rendered at that depth. That's good. What I might do is, in the sake of just having everything really easily navigatable, we'll also just put the tile grid here. I like everything, like, you're able to go back and forth between stuff really easily. So when I actually create this tile grid, we can also say layer.tilegrid equals tile grid. So now we can go back and forth between the tile grid and the layer very easily. Just click on here. Now we're looking at the tile grid, and then I can just double click there and I'm back on the layer, which is, I think, really nice. Especially in a big system like this, like, you want to be able to debug stuff pretty easily. So here's our grid, here's our cells. I think for the cells, I'll just have, instead of instances, I'll just have tile grid cell, and then whatever other renderings we may have. I think that's going to be a much better system. And I'm learning this as I go along, so like, that's why this is helpful. So now look, I'm just going to have a public tile grid cell. And that's going to destroy, that's going to be, but this is what I can do now. So a tile grid cell is going to be a game object, right? So I can just destroy that game object, I guess. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. But I probably just broke a bunch of other code. So let's go fix that. See, now I could just say cell.tile grid cell. Yeah, should it be a game object or should it be the tile grid cell? I guess it should just be the tile grid cell. So we could say cell.tile grid cell equals tile.get component tile grid cell. Okay. I think that works for you. Let's keep going to the errors. I don't know what I'm doing here. It looks like I'm just deleting the instances but not the cells. So I think I'll just do cell.grid. I'm not exactly sure why I'm doing this, but this makes sense to me. Okay. What else are we doing? This is the paint tile action. So, just looking back at, never mind. We're just gonna do this, but I'm going to get it from the tile grid cell. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Just trying to get my mind of how I want to do this. we're getting a sprite render. Get component sprite renderer. Why can't you resolve the symbol? How about sprite? I think it's having issues. Oh, it's get components, that's why. Let's just get component. There we go. Ah, yeah, much better, much better. Okay, coming back here. I wonder if there's a way to check the errors in Rider. Let's see. Where's the build? Build solution. What happens? Ah, yeah, here's the errors. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. I realize I'm doing a lot of getting the sprite renderer, and this is what I think I'm going to do. The tile grid cell, I think, should have access to the sprite renderer, because you're doing a lot of calls to that. So yes, that's true. And I think every time I call that, I should just have to say, actually, I shouldn't have to do any of that. I should just have to change the cell on the sprite, and it automatically syncs to the tile grid cell. Like, this is what the code should be. It shouldn't be all that extra stuff. So basically, I have to sync the tile grid with the cells with the tile grid cells. So we're just gonna have to do that, I think. So to do that, I'm just gonna do it here. I mean, might not be the best place to do it, but it's close enough. Sync tile grid cells with cells. So at this point, we should have all the correct cells. I mean, layers and everything set, right? Alright. And this is gonna basically, not basically, we're gonna get the tile grid cells for each tile grid cell and get entities item 1 tile grid cell. We're gonna say, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get tile grid cells dot sprite renderer dot sprite. Oh, okay, yeah. If has changed is equal to this. Does not equal cell tile grid. Yeah. Why did I call it cells? Does not equal tile grid cell dot cell dot sprite. Yeah. Then if has changed, tile grid sprite render dot sprite equals tile grid cell dot sprite. I don't know why I did that whole has changed variable thing. Thought it might be more readable, but this is probably even more readable. Okay, so we're getting every tile grid cell. If the sprite renderer does not equal the cell sprite, then go ahead and make it the cell sprite. So now we only have to worry about cell.sprite. We don't have to worry about sprite renderer. Okay, I like that. So now let's get everything that's getting a reference to maybe even this find usages. See, I don't think I need this update sprite renderers thing, because my next thing should handle that. So that simplifies this action, which is great. And let's keep it going. Yeah, maybe I just have to make it null. They can continue to exist. Okay. And I do like that. And what else are we doing here? Okay, that's not anything I know about, so I'm just gonna leave that be. Alright, that's performing the sprite. It's cool. Alright, so this is one instance where we... Oh yeah, this is the actual thing that we just wrote. Okay, never mind on that. Let's keep it going. This one's more interesting to me. What are we doing here? We're updating the tile grid. And we're saying, first, if you have a sprite, go ahead and make that. Otherwise, put the sprite back. I don't think I want that. I don't think I want that. Okay, and now we're still working on errors. What, this is an error? This is no longer an error? Okay. We're getting a tile grid cell, so... Alright, what are we getting here? We're getting the current cell, we're getting your instances, and we're getting a tile grid cell. And what is current cell? Current cell is a cell, so you should theoretically have a tile grid cell. Okay, you are doing the same thing. Go back and do the same thing up here. This one might make more sense. Just call tile grid cell. Okay. So here we can just get tile grid cell. This one might make more sense to do here. Don't have to do that. Alright, what are we doing here? We're updating the tile grid, so we're just checking if you have a tile grid cell. If you don't have a tile grid cell, this is where we're actually creating the tile grid cell. And this is a background. So yeah, we're gonna instantiate that. We're gonna get the cell, and we're gonna just get the component tile grid cell. And sure, we can name it that. That sounds fine. And yeah, that's fine. And what's our final error? That might be it. Let's see. Alright, so that was a quick refactor of that. We have errors, no problem. Let's check out what we're going through. So we're updating layer depth, and here we go. We're trying to get the component sprite renderer. The cell should have a depth. Yeah, I think so. Should the cell have a depth? I'm gonna say yes. It's kind of what the layer is though, and the layer has the depth. But we can do that here. This is what I say. If tile grid cell dot cell dot layer dot depth more sprite render dot sorting order does not equal this. Go ahead and make it equal that. Yeah. Okay. So now that's, as long as you're changing cell.depth, the layer.depth, you'll be fine. Why did I do all that? I don't remember. Okay, let's figure out what's going on though. There is an error. Alright. I'm just trying to avoid all this extra code of like hard coding things to happen during these like simple functions, like where I'm changing the layer depth. Everything that depends on layer depth should update on its own. So this is what this code is doing. Like I'm just making sure the layer depths are correct. So what do you want me to do? I don't think that's what the problem was. Oops. Redundant check assignment. Alright, whatever. I know I probably didn't help anything yet. Or maybe I did. Alright, so goodness, I have all these layers. That layer points to this. This layer has a grid. This grid has cells. The cell has no sprite and no tile grid cell. Oh, but it should have a tile grid cell. So now we need to create tile grid cells. Okay. We can do that. You know what? I'm gonna make the cell point to the grid as well, because I want to go back to the grid, and I realized that was harder. How do we get back to the grid? Oops. No, not my Outlook. Can I close it before it opens? Alright. Cell. You're getting a reference to your grid. Alright, who's creating you? Find all your usages. New cell. Oh, no. Who's creating you? You're creating a cell. Update layer cells. Alright, so you're creating that. Cells is a grid. You're a list. You gotta be a grid, right? Yeah. Alright. Let's just pass in the grid. Or, you know what? This is all pretty redundant here. Just check if layer.grid.cells. So we're adding it to the grid. Okay. I don't know why I had to change all that. I just undid all of that, and what I'm going to do is just, when we actually create it, I'm just going to say cell.grid equals layer.grid. No? Okay, I see. You should be grid data. Okay, cool. That's how we create the grid. I'm gonna hit play again. Alright, so now if we're checking out a layer, checking out the grid, say we're checking out some cell, now we can go back to the grid and check out different cells. What I may do is just name myself the XY layer. Okay, let's do that just because it'll be more helpful. Cell, X, Y, layer dot name. So if I go here, go to the grid, now I can see all the different cells and the layers. And that looks good. Okay. What's creating the grids? I'm curious about that myself. Um, who's creating you? Just the layer itself? Okay. Alright. Paint layer 30. Let's rename you. Who's making you? I'm just looking at the data now and just kind of want it so that it just makes more sense to me. Who's creating you? That seems good. Okay, that feels fine. This is the data. Here are grid layers. Each grid layer has a cell. The cell has a position, a sprite, and like a tile grid cell or a rendering. Yeah. And if I go down here, the paint layer also has that same grid. So really, I think this is where the action happens. And what seed? That's good. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Alright, now we need to just create these tile grid cells. What are you doing? Oh, you're trying to destroy it, but you don't exist anymore. I gotcha. That should help. It's compiling. Come on. It's right under me. It's like right here. Okay. And when I stop it, no errors. Good deal. Okay. So who's creating these tile grids? Is it update tile grid? Oh, but we're not calling that system, right? Is that what's going on? So if I go to tile grid, if I do update all of this, is this going to cause trouble? No problem. Let's figure out what's going on. Move selection to square. So right now you're saying, hey, give me tile grid background grid cells, but I'm guessing grid does not yet exist. Is that what's happening? So we've got a tile grid background. You do have a grid. How about cells? Cells is empty. So trying to get back to the problem. Maybe it's tile grid background. You do have a tile grid background though. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. I guess maybe I'll just check the cells too. Look, just if tile grid background and tile grid background grid. If you have that, cool. What's the problem? You don't have this anymore, do you? Right. So when I create the tile grid, I guess one of the things I need to do. Remember the music? Huh. Someone needs a reference to this empty tile prefab. I guess if I'm going to do the tile grids, where's my tile grids? I can. Are you the one with the empty prefab? Yeah. So now you probably also need that prefab. Game object. Go ahead and make this the empty tile grid cell. Empty tile prefab. Maybe that's what it was. Okay. I'm thinking of moving you here. Put you as tile grids. Move you here and remove you. Is that what I want? Yeah, that's pretty nice. But here's the thing. There's still no such thing as a tile grid cell. So now we gotta get the tile grid cell. Oh, but we're still getting errors. Okay, so if you don't have a tile grid cell, we're gonna go ahead and instantiate it. Oh, but you don't have... Oh, so far I've made... What have I done? I'm sure when I play it, we'll see it. Okay, so we have the background. That's great. But when I try to actually create this, oh, you're still empty. Because I guess I'm not assigning it to you. Alright, so I got you, but when I'm syncing the tile grids with layers, when I'm creating these tile grids, I should also say tile grid dot empty tile prefab equal tile grids dot empty tile prefab, and now we're set. Alright. I get it. Back to this. So now that when we're actually creating the tile grid cell, just update tile grid. We're doing the cell. Oh yeah, instead of doing, we should get cell dot tile grid dot sprite render. Should be something like that. You will automatically be set. Well, just to keep it not flickering or anything, we'll redo you there.
High score, 8-2.
Do we have to do this? What's in tile grid cell? Oh, you also have a cell. Yeah, definitely this part. I guess we should also just do this. Tile grid cell equals this. And then now we can just say tile grid cell. And then tile grid cell. That's setting the name. This is setting the position. Yeah. Find it hard to believe, but I guess I can believe it. Let's find all the usages here. Here we go. That's destroying it. Okay, no problem. This is creating it. And we're assigning the sprite renderer. We're not doing the sprite renderer here. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's a background cell. Ah, I see. Okay, no problem. I kind of want to know which tile render is causing the issues. No, I don't care about that one. There we go. That's the one I want to know about. Alright. You have a sprite renderer. Oh, you don't have a cell yet. Tile grid cell. Okay. Okay. That I think I can handle. Okay. Stop. I think I get it. Pretty sure I get it. I think in the code. Oh God. We're not setting the tile grid cell either. So let's do that. Like that, like that. It's compiling, it's right here, it's spinning, spinning, spinning. Stop. Oh, come on, what's going on? What are we hitting? Your cell doesn't have a layer. Is that what I'm understanding? It might not have a layer. So only if you have a layer should you worry about doing this. Oh man, the compiling's taking a long time. I don't know why. Okay. Okay. You may have been made with the right prefab, but I'm not setting the cell. So when we actually update tile grid, let's close all others. Yeah, I'm doing, this must be the background, add missing. Let me add missing background cells first. Okay, so I'm creating the cell. I think what I want to do here is just cell that sprite, it's the background cell, equals cell dot tile cell dot sprite renderer. Alright, tile grid cell dot sprite renderer dot sprite. So we grab basically that placeholder sprite. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. We may be close to refactored, which is really exciting. Additionally, we made the inspector a lot easier to navigate between, which is really something I've been having trouble with. So like, now we can go, well, really, I'm trying to make everything legible and readable. So let's go ahead and fix that too. So when we're setting the name, yeah, is this the background? I guess I'll just say background. And I will also set the name here. It could just be the same name. I want to find one without this, and maybe we can find it not just here, but like in project. How do I find in project? I'm also learning writer, so don't want to find usages. I just want to search in this project. Okay, well, I know for sure maybe the layer. Alright, whatever. I'm not too worried. I was going to try to make everything consistent, but I'm not too worried. Alright, so here we go. Cell background goes to this background data. You're not set to any cell. Oh, are you part of a grid though? Let's go. See, that's the other part. Tile. You are part of a grid. Alright, let's figure out who's making that grid. Just found it. I don't know how. Alright, so if you don't have it, go ahead and create this new grid. I'm also just going to say grid.name equals grid background. I may even put it in this so you know what we're talking about. Add background cells. Where, yeah, that's what's creating the cell. Oh, cell.grid should equal tile background.grid. There we go. Now everything should be pretty navigatable. So we have the cell background. The background has, oh, this is the tile grid, but this actually, the data, this is the cell. The cell is part of a grid. And the sprite is this grid square. And yeah, that looks great. And you don't have any layer. So if you don't have a layer, you basically look like that. But now if we add a layer, you don't have a sprite. So this is what, 0, 0, so I'm going to paint. And now you look like that. And yeah, that looks good. You can enable I know we didn't do anything that that add any features because there's a bunch of refactoring, but I think this is gonna help. why do you have all the layers? Let me figure out why this is happening. It's creating the tile grid layers. Or the tile grid cells. Let's find tile grid cell. Let's just find the usages. Okay, this is where we're adding the missing cells. Alright, so we're going for each layer, for each tile grid. I don't even think I need to worry about doing that. We could just say tile grid dot layer. Oh wait, I get what we're doing here. I'm removing everything from the individual layers. I get that. Am I just doing this again? I get that, I get that. What about this guy? I'm gonna try that. Well, the good news is it's actually in the layers. So yep, that is good news. So in layer 1 we did 0, 2. 0, 2 has that sprite. If I go to that cell, it will definitely have that same sprite. It's the tile grid cell. This is the layer. We're a paint layer. Okay. Yes, that looks good. That looks good. Oh my god. I think we've refactored this so it's nice and usable for ET. And it looks nice. How's the performance? How much data are we garbaging all over the place? Yeah, running 200 FPS on my machine is not very good. That means it's pretty laggy. Alright, so what's what's eating up most of this time? Player update time. Is it because I have... Oh, okay. If I was to ignore that and do this... What? Initialize player update time. What does that even mean? Alright, I'm gonna record deep profile. Alright, let's go. Alright, what's causing these issues? Yeah, this update. Okay, this update seems 9 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds. Yeah, so 10 milliseconds is like 1/100th of a second. Yeah, which is, yeah, that makes sense. Paint the tile. What are you doing? This is hurting. This is hurting. All that is hurting. It's the ECS system. Okay, so I think right now what I have everything as like a list, and I should make it a hash set, and I think that would help tremendously on getting it. So let's commit this code first before I start jumping into that. Man, with all that time I spent, I feel like it should be more than 14 files, but I guess it's not. Let's add to VCS, or 16 files. So what did we do? We added some references, handle buttons. Oh yeah, now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Refactor, nearly complete. References are bi-directional for easier debugging. Woohoo! What's up, brother? UT rocks it. Alright, so refactor nearly complete. References are bi-directional for easier debugging. Yeah. That seems fine. Is there anything else I want to add about this? I think this looks good. No list of game objects in cell. Better just to reference type of display object, like tile grid cell. Something like that. Okay. And then we'll just commit. Should I push it? I think it's ready to be pushed. Alright. That is a cool change list. Never seen one like that before. Keep your work there, huh? Wait, where? What are we talking about? Oh, the change list? That's just the, that's the changes from the code. So this is how Rider does the comparison between your last commit and this commit. Okay. I really want to optimize that ECS system. Oh yeah, no problem, dude. No problem. So like right now, our components. No. Our system. Yeah. So our system is using lists, and lists are great for like arrays, but if you're gonna do constant lookups on them, it might be better to make this a hash set, but it may have some unintended consequences. So we'll have to look at that. This might just be a quick and I don't know why I'm doing behavior instead of ECS components. I'm gonna just try making this an ECS component and see what the code yells at me about. Because behavior is the Unity thing, ECS component is the special thing that we've done. But I might have done something in the event system. Alright, so I'm gonna build the solution. May have some errors. No, build succeeded. Okay. So, man, that would be really cool if that just fixed my performance issues. Alright, code seems to still be working. Oh, let me run the profiler. What are you selecting? Why? Let's see. Hierarchy. Yeah, still running like at 100. So stuff is still slowing this down, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so let's just click on some random place here. So it's definitely on the update loops, which makes sense. Still here. 1.7. So these get entities are still like 0.6 microseconds, which is like one function call, which is still too slow. Am I adding stuff? Let's see. It says select many. Yeah. So right now I'm using Link, which is like C#'s like easy array navigation thing. So like here's me selecting. So I have a collection. Oh, what am I doing here? Sorry, I just realized. Oh, I'm making a new list. Oh, that's already a mess. Maybe I should just be making hash sets, or reusing hash sets. Maybe that's what I need to do. So that's the thing, like I'm creating an array every update loop like hundreds of times, and that might not be the best way to handle this. So I won't worry about it now, but later what I might do is just make like a pool of arrays like that you can pull from, and they might not be lists, they might be more hash sets where you can just kind of where the hash set's not ordered in any way, like the hash set can be pulled in any way, but it will be faster adding and deleting from it. Yeah, okay. That's for later. I don't need to do that right now. I will put this hash set change in though. Change ECS system components to use hash sets instead of lists. Later, maybe change all ECS system to use hash set. Okay. And pool of them instead of creating a new one each time. Okay. I just committed twice, so that actions is going to launch twice. Well, in the meantime, I am done. I will come back after lunch sometime, and what we'll work on next is actually get Perlin noise to start working in here. And my idea, let me see, do I still have my notes? I don't have an explanation of Perlin noise, but what I want to do is actually like on top of the grid here. Let me play this. so I can explain it to myself as well. So like, let's say I have a grid, right? And so Pearl and Noise like supersets another grid on top of this. So let's say it just has like, what's that? Like 1 point in the middle and the corners. So they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like points on this grid. And I wanted to show like the arrows of like what the gradients are doing, just so you can kind of understand what Pearl and Noise is doing. And when I actually select it, I wanted to have the different options here that says like how many grid tiles is your Pearl and Noise grid. It could just be a 1x1, which will make it just look like noise like this. But if you had it like kind of like 3 or 4, you can kind of see the gradients. Ooh, and I have so many ideas. The other thing I want to do is like if you click on a tile here, I want that to show the properties of that tile here and maybe the tint, because I want to mess with the tint, especially with the Pearl and Noise, just because that way you can have that smoother effect. But anyway, change that to a paint layer. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Going to lunch. I'll be back in a couple hours. Bye, y'all.